Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're on here again with another power tool on for repair. This time it's a Bosch hammer. This is the GBH 7/46DE. This is one of the older Bosch hammers. A very good machine though. This one's actually a 2013 machine. So around 12 years old, 12 years of work done. Customer says it's not hammering right, so we're going to see if we can fix this thing up today. Maybe it might be needing a service, but we'll see what she runs like here first. Right, motor sounds good. She's actually running, no problem. Sounds grand on this side. Just see it, she's hammering like. It is actually hammering. Just locking and chisel. She's going into free mode and she's going into drill. So on this here setting, this here chisel's just free to rotate. It's not locked, so you can change the position. And over here then you're on hammer. So it all seems to be working. So I'll just give it a quick, what am I doing? Leave that on. We'll give it a quick test out on the transformer here on the block and see which is hammering like. Right, it actually sounds good. I don't know if you can tell that on camera. She sounds like she's hammering away, but there's nothing coming through on the actual hammer section. You're getting the impact, but it's just, there's no actual strength to it. It feels like the hammer's hitting, but it's only just touching, kind of a hit. It's not getting a full slap. A wee bit of an odd one actually. Normally, either the hammer just goes off completely or it just becomes very weak. This is weak, but it still sounds good. So I'm not sure what's happening here. I don't know if there's a worn striker bolt up inside of here or what. Or it might just need a complete service, full strip and rebuild. We'll start stripping her down here anyway and see what she needs. But it definitely needs something. She sounds good, but she's just not doing much. If you're breaking concrete with us here, she'd be hitting, but she'd be just making a couple of wee chips on it. She wouldn't actually be smashing through. She wouldn't be good enough for breaking anything anyway. These machines in general were very good. It'd be like so equivalent of a modern 8. But out some of the faults that the 8 have. As you can see, they lasted a long time. These have been discontinued quite a while now, but you still get them in for repair all the time. Well, maybe not all the time now, but fairly regularly. You just get them in for a service and that. Or the odd wee fault. As I said in other videos, the main problem with these is the handle. This here section here has a separate trigger, which is pushing onto this here trigger. Sometimes these just become slack and worn out, and you have to replace the whole handle section. It costs like €60 or something like that. It's expensive to do, but all you have to do is just glue a wee bit of cardboard or a bit of plastic onto this, just to make it a bit taller, so it engages the switch again. That's the main problem with them, and it's cheap and easy to overcome it. And wear ain't too bad. The brushes aren't too badly worn out. Bit grubby. It's definitely been used. She's not worn out. Get off this top cover first and see what she looks like on the inside. Actually doesn't look too bad. She does look dry though. It's definitely not getting enough grease anyway. So it says service is going to be the main thing here. So the gears look okay. They're not too badly worn at all. Right. If we can get away with the service in this, that's what we'll do. Strip it, clean it, put new O-rings on it, oil seal if it's needed, bearings if they're needed. We'll see if we need a set of brushes, and then we'll re-grease it and rebuild it, see how she runs. I'll see halfway through if we're going to do a service kit in this or just change what we need to, because all you really need to do is change the two O-rings on the piston and the striker to get this hammering right again, as long as there's no damage up on here on the actual striker bolt. So we'll strip it first and have a wee look, then decide what we're going to do then. We're going to put a full service kit on or just the parts we need. This has definitely been used, but you can see it's not been used an awful lot. You can still see the yellow grease though. So it's been used and it's worn. The grease isn't totally worn out, but it is starting to dry out, becoming stiff and hard. And it's coming hard and stuff, not moving around, and it's just only using it every once in a while. The grease just isn't getting hot enough to get worked around, so some of it is just getting burnt out. But you can sort of just tell by that yellow spot that it's not just been ran constantly all the time until it's just roasting hot. He's putting plenty of grease up on here too. See, this is different stuff. It's a lot lighter. These two bolts are coming down through here. That's what these ones are for. Built a lot like the 8. Let's pull them brushes out in case we are reusing them. We don't want to get them damaged. We'll not put on a set of brushes if we don't need to. We have sent these ones on. This makes jobs a wee bit easier again. Sockets, just like the drill bits. A lot handier to get these out. Look at that. Check the shoulder here on this armature. That's what's rubbing on this here needle bearing. Seal still looks good in this as well, and the bearing looks alright, but just make sure there's no shoulder on here. Be a sign that needle bearing's gone or starting to go, but that one looks fine. Oh, need to take this nut off. Here, put that on. Was not planning on taking it off anyway. She was tight. Just done a wee bit of work, but not very much. That's still a very tidy armature there. You can tell she's an older one as well. But the com bar, barely any wear in it. A little, there's a slight shoulder on it, but nowhere near as much as what these things can actually do. So that motor's fine. That just needs a little clean. Well, that bearing's actually a little bit stiff. There's a wee bit of rust or something on it. That's starting to go badly. So we get that changed. Change that. Clean this. Strip this. Always helps when they're completely covered in grease. And honestly, you'd rather get them uncovered and greased than dry. More of a torture to work on, but it means the machine's generally been kept in good condition. Head off. Take all this out. Things in here start to wear fairly quick if you're not greasing it. All the dust and grit will start wearing onto the steel. Just make sure that indexing disc isn't broken either. Looks alright. We should have another one down here, a wee clip. Take that out. I'm going to leave the pins for now. Give the hands a clean. As well, just stick the gloves on now because I'm going to be getting messy now. There we go. C-clip down the centre. If we get all the rest of it off, we can get to this thing. And they can be tight. There we go. Pull that out. And you can take this off. It's slippery with the grease. She's tight. Just get the blowtorch. There we go. Oh, there goes the front seal. Might change them as well. Yeah, felt sleeve anyway. Ah, would you come out? Clip on there. Just holding on this bar. Just take this all off now. Pins at the front, so you can remove your tool holder. It's not part of the whole hammer pipe, which is what you prefer. It means if it wears out, you can just change this without all of this. Right, that's not broken. Tool holder's still good. Keyways are all still there. So that's okay. These O-rings aren't even worn out. We'll still replace them. We're servicing it. And more pins in here. I can slide that out. That's a little bit more in that O-ring. That's part of the problem now. But the rest doesn't look too bad. This here isn't as bad as I thought. I think it's just a general service this needs to get our hammering again right. Take all that out and pull out this assembly. So this is your rotary drive. This is going from your clutch gear onto this. This is your selector for engaging and disengaging it. There's just 3 V parts to that. And your piston. It's an actual aluminium piston head on a glass fibre reinforced nylon conrod. It's plastic, but these are actually quite strong. You'd be surprised, a lot stronger than the aluminium ones. And no needle bearing in it. I know there's a bit of slop, bit of play in it, but might still get away with it. That looks okay. That O-ring looks a wee bit worn. Let's see, the service should sort this out. There's 2 bolts down in here. There and there. That's what's holding in this crank assembly. be careful you don't get the head caught on the gear. One, two. I think there's only 2 in this. Some models there was 4. Just double check. No, bet you I'm wrong. Grease is hiding it, look. Yeah, this was the model with 4. Another 2 up here. It's just underneath the grease. Actually just wash them as well because they're covered in grease. Drop all this out. That play you hear is just on this needle bearing. So a wee bit of play in that, but that's the way she is out of the factory. Just make sure the sideways play is not too much. That seems alright. And the clutch gives very little trouble in these. That should be alright. Needle bearings look okay. Wash them out. This one down on here set in. But that looks okay. You still see the yellow grease down here too, look. It hasn't done a massive amount of work, but she still needs to be washed out and fresh stuff put on. Right, stick us over the parts washer. I'll start cleaning. Now, this time I'm going to include the cleaning in the video. I'll do this one a little bit differently. I know some people do ask to include the washing processes as well. Normally I try to do, but it takes a little bit longer to film. It takes a wee bit more memory in it, and I normally just speed it up. But I was asked recently to just leave the cleaning process at normal speed, so that's what I'm going to do here today. So if you don't like this bit, just fast forward or click on to the next area. But let me know in the comment section, the cleaning, would you rather see this? Would you rather it sped up? Would you rather see it real time? Or would you just rather not include it altogether? Let me know in the comment section down below. But this time I'm going to do a wee bit different and just leave this here running full speed, or running at normal speed, to include the full cleaning process. It does just take an awful lot longer than editing the video. So we'll try it this time and see what you think. I'm just going to be quiet now and work away, because I'll just get on with this here and don't really chat much. There's not much exactly to talk about when cleaning, so I'm just going to be quiet and work away. And it's also a little bit harder to film this in real time, because I have to try and be quiet while I'm doing it, because the phone's right at my face. I don't want to have come through in the audio, just me breathing down the phone. So it's hard to do, because it's hard to see with the phone here, and it's hard to breathe without breathing down onto the phone. So I'm just going to work away here, and you can let me know in the comment section if you just want to see it. The videos are being posted for you, so as well make them in a way that you prefer. Right.
For 230.
Yeah, what size?
No idea.
Right, that's it, all cleaned out and ready to go. And after looking through all the bits, I decided to not bother fitting a service kit. The simple reason, there's nothing badly worn in it, even the O-rings, to justify putting in a whole service kit. But I considered it if this here had to come out, but this is still installed. This here red seal, that's dear enough on its own, plus it doesn't need brushes, so I can't justify putting in a whole service kit in this. I'm going to get away with just putting in 2 O-rings. Even the seals in that aren't as badly worn as I thought, so that should be all I need to get this up and running again. That's what you need if you want to do a full service kit on it. A full repair, 1617 000 465. That is the full kit, with the instructions as well, the breakdown diagram, all the bits you need to service the whole thing, including the wee keyways, the wee stops for the chisel. I think there's even rollers on this as well, plus your grease, your brushes as well. Just don't have your bearings or your seals for the front and the motor housing here. Apart from them, everything is in that there kit. If you want to do a full strip down kit on it. If you didn't want the grease, you can get another one. It ends in 464, which just doesn't include the grease. And then you get a smaller kit as well, a 463. Not sure what's in that. But the full kit does have other things as well that you just don't really need, like the sleeve for the chuck. So can't justify putting that on. I'm just going to put these on. So hopefully that'll be enough to get this up and running, with some healthy grease as well, which should be nice and light for this, and a wee bearing up in here. I also get told a lot that everything's very disorganised, so I'll read this video a wee bit different again. I'll organise this a little bit. So this is just your trigger. Stick that back in again. Just go to one side and your base, and then we can put everything for the chuck down here. This is just to make it look less daunting. That's all the chuck end. Obviously that's your motor end. Leave them there. Your gear, your piston, and your crank for up the top. This just goes on here. We'll just click it into place for now. I just took this off to help disassemble it, to get the grease out. That's just sitting in there. That in. That's just moving this bar up and down, and it engages this here. That slides onto this here selector, this wee pickle fork. That's it. And you also have your tool holder. This is your front seal. Leave that for now. So ring just came out when I was cleaning it. That's just sitting down on here. Rarely do you need to change that one. It comes in the service kit as well. There's nothing wrong with this, so we'll just reuse that. Set that on there. That's the second little lip back. The first one's for the C-clip. And that goes on the back. This is all part of that there. And a couple of wee clips for reassembling. And a few big washers and that. There's the shims for that. And that's the lock to hold on these here pins. Then you should have 2 needle bearings. And then your pins and everything for holding the parts together. That's it. Wee bit organised. Right, let's see if we can get this back together again. 2 O-rings, a bearing, and healthy grease. That's what I'm going to use. Using the healthy grease simply because it's going to suit this man better if he's not using this machine all the time. If it's sitting up for months on end, healthy grease is a little bit more fluid and doesn't dry out as much. I'll also just stick that back in as well before I forget it. It's just a wee name badge. Put it on for the machine. And then just for general rebuild, I'm going to use the heavier Bosch grease just for initially rebuilding the parts and the seals. Lighter stuff then will be for the hammer. If you're doing it yourself at home, you can just buy the kit with all the grease on it. That on there. And the O-rings as well, if you're just buying them on their own. It's 1610, 210, 109. And these cost a lot less than on a tyre service kit. It's a quick and easy way to get them up and running again. Now, the other reason I'm not putting on a whole kit is simply because this here bearing, for one, is absolutely fine, and so is the actual seal around it. It looked worse when we first started dismantling it. As you can see, there's only just a bit of dirt on it. It's absolutely fine. Just get some grease in that needle bearing first. You don't want that running dry. But that's good. And even the front seal up in here, this little bit of felt and this lip seal, absolutely fine. This was just a bit of dust and that sticking to the felt. Not even going to bother changing that. All the grease at the front was just tool holder grease put on by the customer. So I'll just stick this motor on here first, just to get it off the bench. Then 1629 bearing. Slide that on there. If it'll go on. What am I at? 629. It's meant to be a 628. 629 is not, that's too big, I'll not fit on. 628 bearing. As well, never run these machines, like I said before, without that bottom cover. Because this bearing actually pushes up, or the cover actually pushes up on this bearing, and pushes this armature up. Don't run it without it. Just tighten that on there for now. As you can see, still playing that there. This has to push up to get the armature up, otherwise it'll be too far down and the fan will rub on the air deflector and very quickly melt and bind up. Never run with that there loose, with the cover off. I'm just going to rebuild here initially before putting this together. So we want to get the crank in first before we install anything else. But before we put the crank in, you need to get the clutch in. So 2 needle bearings first, sitting down in here. They're actually 2 different sizes, but that doesn't matter which order you put them in. It's usually not get the clutch in once this gear or this crank is installed. Stick that in first. You pull that full up with grease and then you push it down, spray the grease throughout that whole needle bearing. And this is the next boy. If this needle bearing here instead of this sounds rough at all, make sure you change it. You can pull out this C-clip and press off this bearing and actually change this here needle bearing on its own. Not easy to do and it's not cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than replacing this whole part, because this costs about €100 for this whole crank assembly. Get that in, or covered in grease first, then we'll drop her in. Let's get onto that needle bearing on the bottom too. Just press it down, move it around so it lines up these 2 holes, and we'll bolt it into place. But make sure you use Loctite on these here. As you can see, you can still see the blue on them from the last time. These need to be locked on. You do not want this backing out on you. It'll cause catastrophic damage inside if these came loose. Just get them all initially started before you drive them on full. and just drive them down hard to lock them in. Just remember, this is only aluminium, don't drive them down too hard or you could strip out the threads. But that's the crank in. That's the best way to do this now. So we just have this all sitting ready. These are just wee shims going onto here. This is just to pack out the gap between these bevel gears for giving the rotation. Has to be the right gap. This is your selector. Just put that over the top. That's your packing gear then over top of it. That's what's actually sliding onto your spindle. So whenever this is all engaged, it's driving. Clutch is driving this. This is hooking up these two pieces, and this one is sliding in and locking onto the hammer pipe. This is what's been driven. Get a wee bit of grease in there first. Now this is facing what way now? This way, it's facing back. It has to go on with the piston. We just have to slide on together. Slide that on, keep this gear, the selector ring, all the way back to keep them shims lined up. And that's that bit ready to go for the hammer pipe and for bolting it on to the motor. I will focus on this end. So little O-ring still in here. And I didn't even change these O-rings here. These are just on impact bolt. They're absolutely fine. Drop that on. Get a little on here. Just a touch on these steel pins. You don't want too much grease in these holes, but you need a little bit. If you put on too much, it just means the pins won't actually get on. They'll bottom out basically on the grease. So that. And then we have to do the hammer pipe. So which way is she now again? A little bit like the bigger 11DE or the 12, or some of the 5s even. Instead of having a C-clip inside, you have this here steel ring, and that's connected onto this plastic ring. So these actually go on together. The steel pins in, lock them together. Just try to get the holes lined up first, and your long pins drop on. And your big C-clip or spring clip just locks on the pins. That's it. Locks that on. Now there's two washers, steel washers, to sandwich this plastic disc either side, and a rubber as well. I'll just get the hammer on here first. It's a good bit tighter. On here, these two steel washers are holding this. One is this side and your spring, but then the other side is on this, your front seal. And these are two different sizes. Which one was which again now? Oh, yeah, skinny one is on there, yeah, isn't it? Aye. And then this one needs to be narrower to hold the spring, isn't it? So that's on there. Then your spring, there's two different size springs here as well. Don't be getting them mixed up. The shorter, fatter one is for the outside. This is for the inside. And you slide on this side. And your hammer pipe. Go ahead and install this. So make sure this stays back. Give it a wee twist as you're going in. Back the piston if you need to. You want to make sure the hammer pipe is past these here two shims, just in case they drop down and block it going on. As we want this in the center. Get the seal in here first. Whenever they're in, then you can pull it back. Start giving it a wee twist. Get the hammer pipe in, then your seal. And that other on place. And to be either side, not top and bottom. Push it down. More yet. It's hard to get it in because you have to get the tips of the fingers all the way down. And you just lock it on then, the big C-clip or circlip. And make sure that goes in. As you can see, that's not down. You have to persuade it. Give it a wee tap. Just make sure it is on. That's it there now. So there's your hammer section. Just about rebuilt. As you can see there, she's selecting rotary mode. That is where your chisel can just rotate on its own. Then whenever it comes up fully, it locks against the actual body of the machine and locks your chisel in position. So right, that is me just about ready to go. So I'm going to stick the tool holder on here now. A bit of grease on there. No, I didn't forget. Just a little rubber then goes on this side. These can all slide on. You can put in your little pins to lock the two together. There's your tool holder. Now I'm missing an O-ring. But But it's actually just above my head, so I'm going to use a new one instead of the old one. The main reason I'm using the new one is because I just lost the old one. It's not massively important, it's more like a wee damper. It's just sitting on there. It just cushions this here sleeve. This here is actually holding in your pins, and it's got a rubber O-ring on it as well, and that just sort of stabilizes on this here sleeve so it's not rattling around. So that's in there, and then it's just the spring clip that holds it on. Not going to rebuild the rest of the tool holder yet because we need to get the sleeve on. Now we'll wait to put this on before we put the grease onto it. Which way does that go on? Because that sometimes catches me out too. This is just for holding on the head. Yeah, that just sits on top. Or holding on the handle, sorry. It's just the holes for it. That's in there. Big ones going down here, and then you should have two small ones for back here. Now, I'm just going to reuse these. They're worn, but they're not worn out. Change them if you want, but that's not even halfway worn through. To be honest, if you can get away with them, that's better for it, especially after putting on a service onto it, because they're better matched to the armature, so there's less heat generated whenever you actually start running it. Sometimes after you service something like this, these big machines, you can service it with the fresh bearings and fresh seals and fresh O-rings and heavy grease. When you switch it on, they can start to spark because they're under a little bit more load. So if you can get away with it, reuse the old ones, especially if they're still got half the life left in them, unless you're putting in a whole service kit, that is. Right, that's that. Get the cover on now. That's nice and easy. And the thing about these is once that's on, you can just give the armature a wee test. You can even hear the compression. It's not this we're listening to, it's the actual fan. I want to just make sure it's running free, there's no interference, it's not rubbing on the air deflector. So that's good to go. That on. There should be a single small machine screw, coarse thread, to go down here, same size as the bottom cover. Now, tool holder be last. Just before we do that, we'll get the top cover on. Make sure you have this on, so otherwise you'll have nothing to screw the handle onto. Now if this seal pops out at all. See the way it's all still sitting down flat. It's not kinked or anything. If it kinks at all, if it's not sitting like that there, replace it. As long as it's sitting down flat and it's not bulging, you're fine. If it swells up a little bit but stays where it is, it's still going to seal correctly. But as she swells up and she kinks and she won't sit into the corners, if you put it on, she's going to fold over, leave a gap, and you're going to start having an oil leak fairly quick. So if you have any doubts with that, do replace it. That's about 90 ml of grease going onto this thing. You can just use the Bosch stuff. You can use the Makita stuff. I'm just using the Halti. But it has to be hammer grease, not tool holder grease that you get in the wee cheap packets. It's different stuff. Now, make sure you're right before you drop on the cover. Make sure I'm in the right mode here. I'm on hammer, just to get it to fit in. This is in between, so we'll put it to the same mode. Drop that on top, just test it. Chisel spins, she's in the right mode for that. So that should be her. It's only now whenever you put on these two screws, you're actually putting on the whole motor tight, because beforehand you're only relying on these two back ones. And as well, we'll put Loctite in the rest. Good time is in it. Stick on the handle. If you're in any doubt about this here, just glue a wee bit of plastic or something onto the switch to pack it out if you're thinking it's not reaching. Now we're getting there. This is just chisel grease. So only just for lubricating the chisel. There's no load properties or heat properties in this stuff. It's just lube for using up in here to keep out dirt. Stuff down here is proper stuff for actually running the compression for the O-rings and that, and keeping it running. That other stuff just wouldn't do the same job. There's a reason why the other stuff is so expensive. Funnily enough, the Bosch 5 hammers that use the oil, I always recommend the oil on some hammers because it's better for the gears and that, keeping everything lubricated. I actually thought I would do a wee sneaky and spec the grease, the oil from Bosch, from an actual supplier for lubricants. Because Bosch actually give you a whole spec sheet for all the grease they use. So you can look up the oil or the grease and that gives you a full spec sheet diagram of all the information you need. So I actually sent that on to a supplier for grease and asked them to source me the same stuff and get a price on it. And they came back to me, no problem. Where's my things? They came back to me and says they can get it, but it's not cheap. And I was saying, well, the oil I have to use from Bosch ain't cheap either. I think it's like 60 or 70 euro, maybe a wee bit more for a litre of it. The man turned around and he goes, yeah, this is a wee bit more expensive. I was like, right, what are you talking expensive? He goes, it's nearly €1,000 for a gallon of this here for the stuff he was specking. So yeah, the Bosch stuff is dear, but it ain't as expensive as you would think. Same stuff from another supplier. It was extortionate money. Luckily he knew not to just order it done and wait till we got to go ahead. We never got it done anyway. We stuck with the Bosch stuff. Anyway, that's it. That is one old Bosch hammer, GBH 7/46 DE. Should be up and running and hammering again now. Fully stripped, cleaned, not a full service, but some of the service parts put onto it. New bearing, same brushes, new O-rings up the top, get her hammered again, and new grease. The most important bit. That should get this thing running right again. Now, doesn't have a power indicator, just a wee overload indicator. Now, what does she sound like and does she run? That's her. Up and running again, hopefully with a stronger hammer. As well, no danger of that bearing now failing. Now, see the difference? It's making the same sound, she's hitting, but whenever she's actually hitting, she's lifting herself off the actual ground, she's pulling the whole hammer back. So she's hitting with hard enough force, and there's still play for the hammer to push itself back as well. So she's hitting full slap now, the way she should be. So that will be doing a proper job now and actually breaking concrete instead of just chipping at it. Anyway folks, that's her. That is how you strip and service a Bosch GBH 7/46 DE hammer. If you have one and they just go weak and there's nothing else wrong with it, you'll get away with some grease and new O-rings. But to be honest, if you're going to that sort of hassle to strip the whole thing down, it might sometimes just be better off to actually buy in a full service kit, because they come with everything you need, including the grease, and it just works out a little bit handier, especially if you're having trouble finding the right grease for it. But anyway, that's how you do it folks. If you ever need to service or get your own Bosch hammer up and running again, follow them instructions and you'll have no problem at all. Anyway folks, as always, thanks for watching. If you're liking the videos, make sure to give us a wee like down the bottom. And if you want to help out the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the hype button there as well at the bottom. Cheers. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll chat to you all next time.